All right, today we're diving into a really fascinating spiritual text. Think of it as a kind of map, a guide to how the soul can perceive divine communication. We're going to explore what revelation even means, from simple truths all the way to profound hidden mysteries.
So this really gets us to the core question that's driving our whole discussion today. How does a soul actually experience the divine? I mean, what are the different channels? What kinds of knowledge can be received? And maybe most importantly, what are the dangers along the way?
To get our heads around that, here's our roadmap. First, we'll get a solid definition of what revelation is. Then, we'll look at the difference between divine concepts and divine secrets. After that, we'll dive into two totally different kinds of divine knowledge. And we'll wrap up with a really critical look at how to tell the difference between truth and deception.
Okay, so to make sense of all these different spiritual experiences, we have to start at the beginning with a clear foundation. What does this text actually mean when it uses the word revelation?
You know, it's actually pretty straightforward. In this context, a revelation is simply when God communicates some kind of understanding directly to the soul or the intellect. It's like a curtain being pulled back on something that was hidden, whether that's a simple truth or a deep, deep mystery.
Now, right away, as soon as we have that definition, the text presents us with a crucial fork in the road. It splits revelation into two really distinct categories, and this separation pretty much sets the stage for everything else we're going to talk about. So, on one side, you have what are called intellectual notions. This is when God gives you a clear understanding of an abstract, naked truth, something you just get. And on the other side, you have the manifestation of secrets, which is all about unveiling hidden mysteries. And the text points out that this second one is what most of us probably think of when we hear the word revelation. Okay, let's keep going and see how this leads to the first of two major kinds of divine knowledge a soul can get. This type is all about understanding the world, the one around us and the one inside us. So this kind of knowledge is really focused on the created world. The source describes it as a kind of spiritual insight into the truth of things, everything from knowing what's truly in someone's heart to understanding the secrets of nature or even seeing what's coming in the future. And wow, look at the range of this category. The text gives us some really concrete examples pulling from Scripture. Think of the gifts mentioned by St. Paul. As you can see, it could be anything from discerning spirits and people's thoughts to knowing the healing power of plants, or even foretelling the future. It's basically a supernatural understanding of the natural and human world. Now, if that last category was about knowing created things, this next one, well, this is the absolute summit. This is a kind of knowledge that isn't about things at all. It's about experiencing the Creator directly. The source calls this sublime knowledge. It's a direct, deeply personal, and frankly indescribable experience of God's nature itself. So this isn't about learning about God's goodness. It's about being directly touched by that goodness. In that moment of pure contemplation, God isn't the subject you're studying. He is the experience. The text really emphasizes two things about this experience. It's permanent and it's ineffable. It says this knowledge remains fixed in the soul. And, crucially, the soul knows that the experience can't be put into words, that language just isn't built for it. And to really hammer this point home, the text brings up St. Paul. After his own incredible spiritual experience, he didn't even try to explain it. He just said it wasn't lawful for a person to speak of it. Words just completely fail in the face of this kind of divine communication. And you can almost feel the struggle right here in the text itself. It keeps trying to find words, pure contemplation, overflowing expressions. But at the same time, it keeps reminding us that no words will ever be enough. It's literally trying to describe the indescribable. Now, this part is absolutely crucial. The text presents this touch of divinity as being so pure, so sublime, that it's completely immune to deception. It says flat out that the devil cannot fake this experience because its very substance is God himself. There's no counterfeit. But, and this is a big but, that doesn't mean the spiritual path is free of danger. While that one sublime touch might be completely secure, the text gives some very serious warnings about how to navigate all the other kinds of spiritual communications. And that's the key question, isn't it? If that highest form of knowledge is safe, then where does the danger actually lie? Well, the text is crystal clear that in those other categories, the knowledge of created things and those intellectual ideas, there is a ton of room for deception.
The source lays out some specific traps. For example, a soul can be fed false ideas that feel 100% true and convincing. It can be shown the supposed sins of other people to inspire judgment, not compassion. Or it can be given this false sense of urgency to go do something, all based on a lie. All of these deceptions are designed to play on our own minds and emotions.
But here it is. This is the most profound warning in the whole text. The single greatest danger isn't necessarily being tricked by a false communication. The greatest danger is attachment to a true one. If the soul starts to care more about the experiences themselves, the visions, the insights, the knowledge, than about God himself, then those very gifts become the biggest obstacle of all.
And that brings us to the ultimate takeaway. According to this spiritual guide, the revelations, the visions, all the incredible moments of insight, they aren't the destination. They are just signposts on the road. They are a means to an end. The only true goal is union with the divine, and anything that distracts from that, even a genuine spiritual gift, is a detour.
So we're left with this final thought to chew on. The text makes it absolutely clear that the highest, most sublime knowledge is a pure gift, something that our words and our intellect just can't grasp, which leaves us with a pretty mind-bending question. If the ultimate experience is beyond description, how on earth is a person supposed to even begin to seek it?